since I last did this. So
isn't it fun to learn something new at our age?
I know you can teach a gorgeous dog new tricks.
Yes.
I didn't want to say the OLD word.
How about a mature dog?
Mature dog.
That's what the word I tend to use in my skincare business.
That's a good
talking about maturity and experience and wisdom, and yes.
Yes, that is definitely valuable.
Mm-hmm. It is valuable.
Yeah.
I had no idea, and I know even more. Okay, so since we were talking about drinks so much, what drink did you decide to have? Because I gave a lot of thought about drinks, so I almost need to like talk a minute to you.
Okay.
About what you have. What do you have?
Well, we were talking about adult beverages earlier, but I poured myself a sparkling mineral water, which is, I'm always looking for ways to get more electrolytes and minerals. And so I like sparkling mineral water. So that's what I poured myself for tonight. Oh, and Zevia. I love Zevia. Yes, that's right. I forgot you like Zevia too.
And it's the Dr. Zevia.
Oh, so it's got some zing. It's got some pep, some caffeine, right?
It contains 0 sugar, but it does contain caffeine. So it's just enough.
Right. It's like a Diet Dr. Pepper is what it tastes like.
Other than, I also have my little Texas throw-in here. It's HEB brand, Creamy Creation. It's really good. But it's like the single serving size. So even though this has no sugar, this has a portion of sugar.
Oh, so that's like a dessert.
Yes, yes. We did chicken tacos tonight, and so I do have my, oh, and I see you're waving.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to see. It looks like there's 3 people on, probably 2 of them are you and I, but I was just looking to see, how do we know?
I don't always know. Usually it's best to, guess, if you are watching, can you please say hello? I don't know where my button is to see who's watching though, and it's probably mainly because I'm on my phone. It might be better for on my laptop, but
let's see. I have my laptop open over here. Let's see if I can I join from like both places? Not that I really want to do that, but
you could, but it may echo at the same time too.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm just watching from my laptop, and I don't know that I can tell who's on. I'm like, this. Not that I really. There we go. No, it's echoing. I'm muting it. So, anyways, technology is fun, and you can see all my spots on my skin when I turn like that. So
that's okay.
I have been. We don't have to do it tonight, but I would like you to give me a makeover. At some point, I have been playing with, what's it called? Well, obviously there's the foundation, which I think I have CC cream on today, but I've also been for the past few months playing with the, what's it called? Concealer. Is that what it's called? Kayla is definitely your niece. Sometimes I think she's your daughter more than she's mine. But anyway, she has been teaching me how to, because of course she probably learns on YouTube, how to do things. And then most recently, I got an eyebrow pencil because my eyebrows seem to be fading. So even though I still need to do stuff with the hair management, there's still not enough of it as there used to be, or not as much. So I've been learning to do eyebrow pencil. So hopefully it's good enough for tonight.
We have to like remove hair from our face and then add hair to our face. It's weird.
Right.
It's just weird. But one day in heaven, we will have perfect and complete bodies, and it'll all be wonderful, right?
Yeah.
So, well, cool. I did want to share too at the very beginning about my Team Aaron Robinson fundraiser, because I don't think I actually did a shout out, and this is in the month of March. I was able to pamper my customers with satin hands. Oh, and it looks like we have more people watching. Say hello, comment below if you're watching our Facebook Live. But Team Aaron Robinson fundraiser called Helping Hands with the Satin Hands Mary Kay, famous satin hand set that everybody knows and loves. And it was just so neat to reach out to customers and friends and family, et cetera, and just kind of share my heart behind Team Aaron Robinson and how God is keeping him alive and thriving. And so I did, all my profits went to Team Aaron Robinson, and I had like a special deal. But anyways, we were able to give money to Team Aaron Robinson. It was over $600. Was it $650? Right. It was a good.
Yeah, I think it was $650. It was definitely over 600. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really thankful, and I only it was at the end of March. I almost felt like I should have taken all of March. I could have done more, but it was just fun to like connect with people. And then there are some people who like their hearts were so moved they just gave straight cash, and I was really accepting to just send them to your website or Team Aaron Robinson, the GoFundMe. Yep. And we should definitely put these links down below.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yes, people get confused, but we do have one of everything because we've been doing this for 6 months now. So I have different people want to give differently. So some people like GoFundMe, some people like Give, Send, Go, some people like Venmo, some people like cash, some people like checks. So, I mean, we've been very thankful for the generosity, and we figured out a way. And some people wanted to give through 501c3. Some people wanted to call the clinic directly and just make the payment because for tax reasons, they would prefer that or whatever. So we have done it all at this point, I think.
Whatever it takes, God moves in all different ways, right?
Right.
So yeah. I just want to say it was a blessing for me to do a fundraiser. It was neat to just see God move and just have some good conversations and really even like just hear what God's doing in other people's lives.
Right. It's definitely an encouraging story. This is something I've just been learning in my own walk. Well, the whole time, of course, but really it's been a strong message in my own relationship with God just the past couple of weeks. It doesn't matter how big or how scary or how terrible a challenge is in your life. I think I've been, just to be transparent, I've been battling anxiety and depression through this whole journey, as you can imagine. I mean, we've had some very traumatic things happen with Aaron's diagnosis, but I think, just like any relationship, my relationship with God, I hate to say it, ebbs and flows, but that's more because of me, less him. But anyways, I've been really encouraged the past 2 weeks that I guess, just to be preachy a bit, so pull me back if I'm getting too preachy, but I'm just sharing my testimony. So I had been listening to the lie that the problem I'm facing is too big for God. And so I'm still struggling with anxiety. It's still something that, and depression, but I've just been hearing the message that there's nothing too difficult for him. And it's one thing to say that, but to live it, out when you're faced with the challenge that you would have never imagined, I think that's obviously different and stretches you and challenges you. But I just have this peace, that I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's okay. God gives me new wisdom every morning, and it's usually in like the biggest form of wisdom and how he talks to me is through inspiration. I mean, when you get inspiration, that's the Holy Spirit, so I may have a list of 25 things to do, or what I think I should do to make progress on whatever it is I need to make progress on, but I'll wake up and the Lord will be like, you need to do this today. And it may be something on the list, it may be something not on the list, or whatever. That's just how my brain thinks. I just think very literally. Yeah.
Well, just thinking back to one of my, someone's making a comment. Oh, it's Mom, Doris Lucas.
Hi, Mama.
Nothing's too big for God. I was
Amen.
just thinking about how trying to wrap up your inspiration and knowing what happened in Moses' life
Right.
when he, was like handling those plagues all under God's control. And he finally got released, but then he got to the Red Sea. Like, I'm sure there was a lot of like desperation at the moment.
Right.
And he just had no idea that God was just going to move or part the Red Sea or whatever. And,
Right.
like we just aren't capable of knowing where God's at. And soon you're going to have a story of him parting the Red Sea and whatever that looks like. But
yes,
you're waiting, and that's okay. God's in control.
Right.
Nothing's too big for him. And we're just going to part this Red Sea somehow ish.
Yes.
I don't even want to, because God may not part the Red Sea. He may do.
He does a new thing.
Maybe you can press the helicopter button and
there we go.
Up and over it.
That works. Yep. Yeah. We're in aviation.
So,
right?
I
like helicopter buttons.
Hey. And I'm seeing more people coming on too. My friend, Sweet Teresa, who I haven't talked to forever. Hi, Sweet Teresa. She's on now too. Can you see who else is on? I don't know if it shows when people go off, but.
So I have my laptop opened over right here, and I do see Mom Doris is nothing is too big for God. And I see it says 5 people are online now, but again, 2 of those are probably us. So, and probably Mom, and then so probably 2 others. But it looks like there's a little bit of a delay between our phone and then the laptop. So very interesting.
Why don't we get started into content since it's officially 7:15? My theme, or maybe not theme, overview for our Facebook Live was past, present, and future, and I kind of figured we'd do 10 to 15 minutes for past, present, and future.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the fun part. Oh, now Anna's watching. Hi, sweet Anna.
I saw Mary come in too, Mary Beth.
Yay, I'm so happy.
Our cousin in Michigan.
Woohoo! God's doing great stuff in the present and in the future, but I don't know. I love a good love story. So that's why I kind of wanted to start in the past. How you and Aaron first met, how God put this tall, dark, and handsome man in your life.
Yeah.
What is your synopsis of how you two first met and fell in love and that story?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. In college, my last year of college, I was a super senior. I went a 5th year because I had double degrees, but I had broken up with my college sweetheart and just was heartbroken from that. And I remember at the time, let's see, this is 1997, 1998. I went to school at UC Irvine. I would come home like once every month or 2 to Thousand Oaks to Mom and Bill's house, and just to like catch up. And I'd hop on their internet, and which was dial up at the time. So it's, now we have the internet in our pockets everywhere we go. But back then it was an effort to dial up, and you had to wait the 3 minutes for, things to dial in. But anyways, we actually met on AOL. It wasn't like a dating site per se, but this was only when there was like 12 people on the internet, so everybody would message everybody. It's not like it is today where billions of people are online. But so anyway, so you would get random messages from folks, and so Aaron was one of the people, and most everyone I kind of ignored or deleted at some point, but Aaron and I would chat. And he would ask me out because he just got out of the Navy this is early 98 now. He just got out of the Navy and was working in aerospace. And so he just was looking to meet up. He was living with his mom in Thousand Oaks. I was living with my mom in Thousand Oaks. We were, just launched. And I said no at first. I was just kind of recovering from that relationship. And he was like, oh, I just broke up with my high school sweetheart as well. So, we both kind of just, understood that. And we had decided, we were kind of at a point in our lives where we had both talked through email. So it was like very platonic at first, doing that. And anyways, so at some point we decided, after I was home for the summer, he was into country line dancing at the time. And so he invited me to go to the Borderline dance hall. I forget what the full name is, but the Borderline Saloon in Thousand Oaks, Borderline Bar and Grill in Thousand Oaks, which everybody in Thousand Oaks and everyone in the area knows the Borderline Bar and Grill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunately now has closed since 2018. But anyways, we met there, and oh, it looks like Bill Lucas is watching too. And my friend Katie said she was going to join as well, so hopefully they were able to make it. But anyways, we met in person and I remember thinking, well, by that point, so this is after about 5 months of talking online and emailing. And we had obviously exchanged pictures at that point and had lots of conversations. I think we'd even talked on the phone once or twice at that point. But this is still a guy I met on the internet. So it was still like weird, so just like for safety reasons, I was like, well, let's meet at a public place. I'll bring my brother, my sister, my brother's friends. Will was with us, and he's a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine. So he brought a Marine buddy. I felt like they were our escort. And so you were there. We met in person. I remember we were kind of waiting off to the side, those windows overlooking the 101 freeway, which there's like a deck out there too. And I remember seeing this tall, dark, and handsome man like across, because there's how the floor is set up. It's like literally a square like dancing floor, and there's like high top tables. There's like high top tables all the way around and a bar on the one side.
You can check out the people dancing.
So you can see the people dancing and, go dance. And then when you need a drink, get a drink and then watch the dancers. So, and check each other out. So, anyway, so I just remember seeing him like literally across the room. And of course it's easy to see him, being tall, and he was tall. So, and I remember getting all giddy, of course, and you were like elbowing me. You were like, Jen, go up to him. If it's him, great. Even if it's not, just go up to him.
Go meet him.
So anyways, so we did that, and he had promised me to teach me how to two-step. So, we had some fun. But of course, as soon as we go out on the dance floor, it goes from like the quick country music to the slow song. And it was Leanne Rimes' How Could I Live Without You?
Oh.
So our first dance together, it was supposed to be a two-step because he promised me he was going to teach me how to two-step. But, my friend Katie is saying she's having trouble getting on. So let me just tell her real quick. Let's see if I can do this on the iPad. Go into Facebook. Should she, if I am live with you and she's friends with me, I believe she can just click the live link, right?
I think she can just go to your Facebook profile, your timeline, and it should be.
Go to my Facebook page. Let's see. I'll try and share it. So
I don't know if you can share it while we're still live.
Let me see if I can share it from the laptop. I'll send it in Messenger to Katie, just because she said she wanted to join.
Yay! This is dating with Katie, right?
This is Katie Clark. Yeah, my girlfriend
Yay.
from college that she did do in February.
Yep.
It's not letting me share. Here we go. Share now with friends. Here we go. I just shared it. I just shared it to my profile. Try that. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Anyways, I was getting lost in the weeds on the details of our Met story. So anyways, so the night we met, he promised to teach me how to two-step, and he eventually did. But our very first dance together was Leon Rimes' How Do I Live Without You? And so I think that, so every time I hear that song, and there's, you know, every couple you have your songs, you know, but that's one of our songs is Leon Rimes, you know,
Aww.
how do I live?
And then do you still two-step to this day? That's the other question.
Let's see. So we met, it was July, I think it was July 19th, 1998. I remember it was the day after Dad's birthday. And obviously we dated, I think it was up until, so yeah, we would go to Borderline probably, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times over the next 5 or 6 months, or, you know, give or take. So like a handful of times a year. We wouldn't go all the time, but we went often because we enjoyed it. And I remember going other times. I don't know if you went with us other times, but I remember Aaron's brother Adam would meet us up there a few times. And so I have random memories. So they all kind of just smushed together. But their memories smushed together is what I'm saying. But
fantastic.
Okay, she sees it on the profile, so it looks like she's going to try to make it in. Okay.
Okay,
great. So yes, we kept two-stepping, but we married the following July. So we met in July of 98. He proposed in October of 98, and we got married the following July of 99. And then Jonah was born in June of 01. So somewhere in there, just life happens. And, you know, like you don't go out as much as you once did when you were, you know, young and, you know.
So Emily is so smart that a current joke right now, and her teacher for her class this year, Miss Britton's watching right now. So I don't even know if she got it from Miss Britton. But one of the things she usually says when we say, oh, what's going on? Why is that happening? She just goes, because reasons. And as funny as that is, because there's always reasons or excuses or whatever.
Right.
But for me lately, I've been like saying, well, because life, like,
right.
Like, even though, like you were talking earlier, you have a list of like 10 things you need to do the next day, but then God's like, nope, you're just going to focus on this today. And just like in your marriage.
Right.
Like, life just happens. You can try and plan, and plans are good, but at the same time, life just happens, right?
It's just good to learn flexibility.
It really is. I had no idea 20 years ago how flexible I would learn to become.
Well, especially you. I think flexibility is good for any stage of life, but I feel like, and we only have 2 kids, you know, but I feel like just watching you with 4 kids and Rihanna with 5 kids, like just watching, and then other families, friends from church mostly that have even more than 5. I think I just see those moms, my girlfriends that have kids more than we do. They, you know, learn to be increasingly flexible the more kids you have. I think.
Oh man.
You know, and the other things happen too, but yeah. So.
Because even the husbands still come first.
Absolutely.
But somehow you have to juggle in all those kids. Okay, so you got married in 2000.
99. Yep.
99.
Right before Y2K. Yep.
One day I'll get this right. And Jonah was born in 2001 because it was 3 months before 9/11. Exactly.
Yep.
He was like the first thing on my mind when 9/11 happened, because I was like, how is Jonah and Daniel, that's the other nephew I have, what is their life going to be like with 9/11?
I know.
And then
I remember you were the one that called me. You were like, it was like 6 a.m. and we were in California. Jen, turn on the TV. And I think I was just getting up to like, because Jonah was 3 months old, you know.
Right.
And actually, we were doing this thing where every month on the 11th, because he was born on 6/11. So every month on the 11th, we would take a picture of him next to his teddy bear, so we could see like month 1, month 2. And I was thinking, okay, today's the day 9/11. I need to take the 3-month picture. And so, you know, usually when you have a newborn, I think he was a good sleeper. So I think he started sleeping through the night about 6 weeks. I was really blessed with that. But by on September 11th, I think he was still getting up like at 5 or 6, whatever time it was. And so I think I was stirring, but you called me and you said, turn on the TV. And I was like, why? And you were like, just do it. And of course it was on every channel, you know. So I just remember nursing Jonah and crying and watching, you know, they of course did the replays because at that point, the first airplane had hit. And we were all just crying. But then I remember nursing Jonah, and all of a sudden we watched the second plane hit. And that's when we knew. And I think you and I were on the phone for a while too. I think we had like our 90s headsets on, and I had a cordless phone, you know, it was before cell phone.
Cordless phone, definitely.
Right.
Pagers, but no cell phones.
Right. So I remember spending a lot of time, obviously when the kids are that little, there's a lot of seat time. So I just remember getting really good at like wearing my headset and having my cordless phone like snatched to my waistband. And
love it.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the 9/11 generation. Yeah.
And then we probably have less than 5 minutes. So I kind of get up to,
I like how you're keeping us on track. Thank you.
You guys moved to Phoenix where Kayla was born?
Yeah, we moved to Phoenix in 2004, and Kayla was born in September of 2005. So yeah.
And then you had another fabulous move to New Mexico. We could probably do a whole Facebook Live on moving and what God has taught us about moving. So we're gonna have to save that for another day because you and I are probably like experts. We should probably write a book on it.
Right. We had, and actually the past 3 moves have been over 13 years. That's actually a record for me and Aaron's relationship because I think the first 10 or 11 years we moved 10 times.
And so that's not even a part of your story anymore. Like that is dead and buried, and like how great is that?
but we still, like you said, it's another discussion for another time because we still have stirrings. You know, it's not for lack of trying, but it's just been clear that God has not opened any doors for us.
So needless to say, you guys moved back to California and you've made your home there, and Aaron has his business there, and you've even come up to a point where I don't know what your actual title is for Aaron's business, but you do the front office and he does all the work in the shop.
Yep, pretty much.
That kind of brings us up to, well, we're still kind of in the past. Do we want to share about his original diagnosis or?
Yeah, I could try to keep it short and sweet because I know Katie, I was re-listening to my interview with Katie recently, and you know, how did we know he had brain cancer? It's not the first thing you think of when you are having a hard time sleeping, you know, or you have a headache, you know, you think everything else. But he had, it was the year 2015, and I had a great job at Amgen. I really enjoyed that. And the business was growing. Aaron's business, you know, our business, Envision Avionics Panels. And it became clear to me that it was just, you know, I really enjoyed the group and the job I had at Amgen. But anybody could have done the job. I was like, we could have replaced where, you know, the business, our business, Envision Avionics Panels, needed help. Like it needed help, you know? And so I could just see it was growing 30% year on year. And there was so much untapped potential. It was just a business decision to move. But it was tough because it was just a tough decision. But I'm happy I did because, you know, I love working with Aaron. But I'm glad I did. The timing was interesting because that's when I really was to, you know, it's just tough when you have 2 careers going on, a family and 2 kids. There's just a lot of moving parts, you know, just like any family can relate. But I think it helped slow me down, and just because we were now working next to each other, we were able to, I was able to pay attention more. And so I remember he was getting all these symptoms and we tried a bunch of different stuff. And at one point, after a few months, I actually wrote down all the symptoms. And in hindsight, I wish we would have requested a neurologist like right away, but we didn't think about that. Anyways, by December of 2015, he had a grand mal seizure, which what that means is when the grand mal is typically when your body just starts convulsing and you lose consciousness. So of course they fall down, and it's the typical thing you see like in the movies or shows. So it was bizarre. It was just like, because it's something you've only ever seen on movies, it had never happened before. It was just bizarre.
And I'm so thankful for the circumstances behind it of God's hand, in that he had just dropped off the kids, which I don't think he remembers that whole amount of time. And 2 guys from church just happened to stop by the shop. You were in the front office, but you probably wouldn't have known or heard or seen anything. But again, 2 guys from church were able to like stabilize him ish, you know, turn off the heavy machinery, let you know, you called 911, and just kind of everything got moved a lot more quickly to get him to the hospital and the diagnosis and getting the right help with the right people. Because there's a lot of people who wanted to help, but you had to find the best help, of course.
God's hand, and just like we were talking at the very beginning, God's hand has been over the whole thing. So we've just been covered. So that's comforting to remember that to this day.
It reminds me of something biblical again, you know, like, weren't there 2 prophets that showed up at one point with Jesus or something? I don't know.
I was just going through that this morning. I was going through that. Moses and Elijah.
Moses.
And Peter was like, "Oh, it would be good to build an altar or whatever, a tent for Moses."
So, who are those 2 guys from church? Are they Moses and Elijah? You don't have to.
Yes, I can share their names. I don't think they're on. It was Kurt Adams and Glenn Thompson from Godspeak. So they're buddies to this day. The Thompsons have since moved to Northwest Arkansas. They, you know, are always telling us to, you know, inviting us to come visit, you know, which I hear it's beautiful out there. So I would love that. And then the Kurt Adams, they still are at Godspeak. He's a pilot for United, and the family, so they, you know, they are, Tammy, the wife, actually is at our church. Our ushers are called sheepdogs, just for some reasons we don't have to get into right now. They're all trained on security at our church. So she's one of our sheepdogs. So
I love that. Yeah. Okay, so we should probably scoot up to the present so we can get into the future.
I like it.
So you guys have been getting treatment. He's still alive today.
Yes. So he was given.
He has terminal cancer, but you know, God willing, he is still alive.
He was given 3 to 15 months, and I have to make sure I say months because on Katie's interview I said years. I was just thinking a couple years, but it was 12 to 15 months was what he was given 6 years ago. So Aaron has been doing alternative treatments ever since. He's been doing some we've obviously been working with, we were at Cedar Sinai for a while. We switched over to UCLA for a couple years, and now we're working on changing things up again with the local hospital. We went to an amazing, and I also forgot to give shout outs before. We went to an amazing clinic in Tijuana called Hope for Cancer.
Yay!
And we really loved it there. They do the 7 pillars of health. And they're always doing, Dr. Tony, a good friend, and he's always doing like educational calls on, you know, how to heal, various methods of healing from cancer. So really enjoy going there. Wish we could go back. 2 of the medicines he was using there became unavailable, unfortunately, by 2018. So we started going there in 2016, right after his diagnosis. He had surgery. He had surgery. So that he did do, even though he didn't do the regular conventional treatments. So 2018, those medicines unfortunately became unavailable. I know Hope for Cancer does have other new treatments that have been very successful. So I hear lots of good things, but Aaron just didn't feel the leading to do that. When the 2 medicines he was on, Rigvir and PT27, became unavailable. So from 2018 to 2019, actually by 2019, he's still on these medicines. Another protocol called How to Starve Cancer by Jane McClellan. It's a book. I think most people that are looking for, alternative ways to heal from cancer have heard of that. So he's actually still kind of doing that. I think he's actually doing it still, taking some off-label medicines for things that have been approved by the FDA decades ago. So their safety and toxicity profiles are well known, but they seem to help a bit with cancer. But when we first decided to go to Hope for Cancer in 2016, we had our eye on the second clinic, the Brzezinski Clinic, where we're at now. But at the time, just between the cost and the legal regulatory setup at the time, was Aaron didn't want to do it. But last summer, so coming up to the summer of 21, we found that his tumor was starting to regrow again, and this time in an area that's inoperable.
Okay.
So because surgery is pretty much no longer an option for Aaron, and his tumor is like for sure growing, and in fact, and that's where we can get to the current, we just figured we had to go all in, and so that's why, so just the decision to go have the consultation at the Brzezinski Clinic was a huge leap of faith. And so I think this part of the journey, this is like way out of anything that I could coordinate or figure out or afford, or like this has been since we went to that consultation in August.
Okay.
When we came out to Houston for that consultation, it's been a complete faith step every single step of the way. So, and God's definitely providing. We're very thankful for that. But we definitely need to keep going. So, so that kind of brings us up to the present with the Brzezinski Clinic.
Yay. And so how many months have you guys been at Brzezinski Clinic now? And
so we actually have only visited the Brzezinski Clinic twice in person. A lot of people ask that. They said, well, how often do you go to Houston? The medicines, thankfully, because of the current legal and regulatory setup, we are able to get our medicines shipped to us by an independent, party. So we have a connection to do that. We could also go visit in person. We have regular phone calls with the Brzezinski Clinic. In fact, I need to call them this week to update. I just remember I've been on the phone with Cedars-Sinai and UCLA like every day this week. So it's like, and then, and then I have my medical appointments and Kayla has her medical appointments. So it's like, how much time, like, do you really want to spend 8 hours in the day chasing down doctors' offices? So that's pretty much my full-time job, one of my full-time jobs right now. But anyways, we may have to go visit them again in person at some point, but right now we don't have that plan for now. Right now, what he's been doing the past 6 months is Aaron has been on Dr. Brzezinski's proprietary patented medicine called antineoplastins, and it's an amazing technology. Dr. Brzezinski has a second protocol called gene targeted therapy that would be additional cost, and so we've been trying to get that covered locally with our local oncologist, because that is not a patented, it's not patented by Dr. Brzezinski, but it is FDA approved. So we've been having, that's why we're going back and forth between UCLA and Cedars-Sinai. So that's still in process, but that second protocol is for additional oncology medicines that Aaron is currently on 2 of them. And I have been calling Cedars-Sinai every day, trying to find update for the past 2 weeks. Trying to get him on the Avastin infusions. So that's currently where we're at.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a lot of multi-syllable words is all I can say.
It is a lot of multi-syllable words.
And I'm so glad you got your double major with a science background. And
yes,
God has like orchestrated all this. And
you know, it's interesting because my dad, Bob, I saw Barbara come on earlier, but I think they had small group tonight, so she was just going to hop on real quick and say hi. But um, I just he told me that, you know, that I am perfect, that he has been just, you know, how fathers dote on their daughters, you know, like he has just told me that I have been perfectly situated and gifted for helping Aaron in this season. And I'm, you know, I, not to pat myself on the back, but it is amazing how, um, like all of my passions and experience and talent has definitely enabled me to help Aaron, you know, beat brain cancer. So now, if you know somebody else whose husband gets brain cancer and they, you know, they just want, you know, I would just say, just go to Hope for Cancer, go to Brzezinski Clinic. You know, I mean, I need to write a website, start my own podcast on, you know, how to do this, because
yes,
I have people reaching out to me all the time. Like, what do I do? What do I do? And, you know, at first I was trying to be helpful, but at some point, you know, I have to, you know, manage my own time and, you know,
well, you were definitely his helpmate. You're like the
yes,
biblical wife, perfect Proverbs 31 woman, with all of your imperfections, by the way. I don't mean to
oh
be
yes,
putting you too high up there that it's unbelievable.
I have my
But it's a God thing, is the reality, in that, yeah, you've just come alongside of him because you've had to follow Aaron's lead. The
yes,
girls and I are reading the book of Colossians, and we're honestly just finishing up, and we're at that great passage of husbands love your wives and wives submit to your husbands kind of thing. And
yes.
I love the translation, and I can't remember which translation. I can look it up for somebody if they want it. But submitting to your husbands is literally, or the translation is follow your husband's lead. So
Yeah.
I've just seen that in you time and time again, that you like do all the research, which something is our other dad, Bill, has been really good at teaching us, but do all the research and find all the, you know, different avenues, but then, you know, you followed your husband's lead, because Aaron has been very specific about what he feels like God wants him to do. And
Yep.
sometimes you nod and smile, and sometimes you like have some comments, but you're really good at following following his lead.
Yes.
Such a gracious way. And yeah.
We were raised, which is interesting because we were raised by very strong women.
Uh-huh.
And and so I feel like you and I are very blessed in that way. Like I feel like I'm a very strong woman, but I do not feel blessed when I am taking the lead. You know, I've definitely done that more than I wish I would have done that in hindsight, you know, but I've learned, you know, that when I do that, I just don't, there's something about just waiting. And you know, I guess if they're, you know, just talking to my other strong girlfriends out there, I'm sure they can relate, especially if they're trying to figure out how to do that as a believer. But for those who may disagree with that passage of scripture about, you know, wives submitting to their husbands or following their husband's lead, you know, like I can just say for myself, all I can say is my testimony, you know, that the times where I have been the one who I have demanded that I be the one lead, that's usually the times where I'm the most anxious, I am the most fearful, you know, I tend to get stressed out, and I just don't feel that anointing when I can just learn to let go and trust and obey. But really, you know, of course our husbands are imperfect, they're men, you know, it's like we know all their imperfections. So I think that's why it's hard, especially, you know, for us as women to especially strong women, to be like, why do I have to follow him because he's not a perfect man? Well, it's like no man's perfect, but when you trust in the Lord, he's the one that covers it all. So
Yes.
so when you trust in your husband's lead, you're really trusting in God's lead, you know, and then it's like, then he has the accountability, you know, and it's just much more relaxing and peaceful. And not that I do that perfectly by any means, you know, I'm still trying to figure out how to do that on a day-to-day basis, but
yes,
if I can find that way to do that, that's amazing.
So what are Aaron's needs? What are his, I'm looking at I printed out your latest email. What are Aaron's needs? What are your prayer requests? So that way we can take the last 10 minutes and just kind of wrap up. And since we've shared.
Why am I so shiny, Amanda? I'm all shiny and you're not shiny. I think because
a powder on for that.
You have something to help with that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I put powder on, but maybe it's just absorbed it.
So this is the new trends, ladies. It's Mary Kay setting powder. It's literally like a mineral powder got married to a translucent powder. They had a little baby. So I am like photo ready at any time. And I know that sounds silly. Because you know me, I'm really not that vain. I like, you know, flip-flops and a hooded sweatshirt. That's pretty much my attire. But oh my goodness, setting powder is the newest trend. And you can be not shiny like me. Though sometimes I still get shiny. Let's just be honest.
Okay.
I live in Houston. There's a lot of humidity here. We're
There's a lot of shine.
It was like low 80s when I got up this morning to sit on the back porch and have quiet time with God. I like put on my sweatshirt and then I got outside. I'm like, oh. So no hooded sweatshirt needed right now, but
right.
I'll save it for when I go back inside and the AC is set at 68 because yeah. Okay, so
what does Aaron need was your question.
Yes.
So
I have prayer requests.
Yeah, thank you. So like bottom line, I think in that email, I think you were helping me write it last week. I think it's just basically 3 bullets. They're big bullets, but you know,
big bullets.
But it's just basically 3 things. So I think thing 1 is I am just recruiting, and I have been for 6 years. I am just recruiting. I don't know. Now, granted, I need to trust in Jesus, not my prayer word, because, you know, Jesus is the healer, obviously. But I'm just asking for prayers for healing, first of all, you know, and a lot of wisdom comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing, too, is just with the medical costs that are very big. I don't think we've said the amount yet, but we do have to make a payment of $17,000 every single month. So yes, that's 17 with 3 zeros after it every month. That's a lot of money. And remember when I said that it was a faith step because I didn't know how we could afford it. But, you know, I guess the question I had was, well, how much is Aaron's life worth to me? You know, like if I had a house, I'd mortgage it. Like I'd get a mortgage on the house. Like I would, whatever, like, you know, so we're, you know, and so that's actually where thing 3 is, so thing 1 is the medical, thing 2 is the financial, is we're just praying for covering. We're praying that the right donors would come in. Even the donors who can only like give like $10 or, you know, or $100, you know, there's just something about giving and receiving. It's just a beautiful process. And so I really do enjoy the fundraising aspect. In fact, I'm wondering if maybe God is maybe changing my career path to go into like nonprofit or something, because I'm also very passionate about this clinic, the Brzezinski Clinic. They specialize. This actually, I mean, they can help with all kinds of cancers. I'm in the patient group. We get new people all the time going, can you help me with this cancer or that cancer? Or my mother-in-law has this, or so-and-so has that. It's like, yes, he helps. All cancer is cancer. It's the same disease. It's just in different places. But he actually is focusing on aggressive brain cancer, specifically brain cancer. So DIPG, glioblastoma, anaplastic astrocytoma, all the gliomas that are basically a death sentence, you know. And so and he's actually been treating people for 45 years, and he has been saving lives for 45 years. So much so that he has, when you walk into his clinic in Houston, so you're in the Houston area, and probably a lot of your listeners are, you know, there's a good amount of people in the Houston area. I would highly recommend, if you just want a day to be completely inspired to tears, just to go to his clinic. And there's like all four of the walls in the waiting room are all just plastered in pictures and awards and thank you notes. And, you know, it's just amazing to see all of the lives that he has helped save, you know,
That's
over the
special. Years. That's really neat.
So yes. And then the last thing is, the last bullet is our business. So Aaron is the reason, Aaron is our provider right now. So his business, and yeah, we work it together, and I'm the business, you know, I'm the business owner as well. You know, on the corporate documents, we're both listed on there as, sorry, Caleb is just texting me, but Aaron is the key employee. So if Aaron doesn't work in the business, we can't accept new jobs. So we've just been praying for ways that we could either, you know, do we sell the business? Do we try to hire somebody to come replace him so the business can still, you know, he makes custom panels for private aircraft, avionics panels. And so all of his clients love him. I mean, he is just really good at what he does. And most of the business that we have is all repeats and referrals. Like, we don't really do that much advertising, and yet the business is still growing even during the shutdowns. You know, people are still reaching out to him. So his clients love him. There's definitely a demand for his service. So we're just praying for wisdom in the business. You know, and it looks like we may have a solution. Our two of our guys that work for us, they have both stepped up and said that they would be willing to be trained to help out. You know, if Aaron is having a bad week with treatments and just needs to lay in bed all day, you know, that they can still, we can, you know, between me, Sam, and Jonathan, the three of us could just run the shop, you know, and while Aaron is doing his treatments at home. So yeah, so those are his three needs, is, you know, the medical, financial, and business help. Yeah.
Well, and I didn't realize I was reading this over. I don't know why it gets me excited, but now that you guys have your 501c3,
yeah,
the donation sites that you go through, setting them free.
Yep.
And I don't know a lot about that, but I just think that's just really cool that you're looking for ways to, I don't know, help out the donors, because I know that's always big, by all means.
Yeah, but, I had a couple donors who are like, well, we want to give, and you know, it's a very generous donation, but of course, you know, the tax write-off is kind of nice when it's, you know, say above a certain amount, whatever they're comfortable with. And then I had another so that's through the GoFundMe site.
Okay.
And then I realized with another donor that she figured out through the Give Send Go site. So I guess those are the two I'd probably share the most. The Give Send Go site, you can she actually pledged to give $1,000 a month, you know? So, and you can, like, through Give Send Go, you can sign up, like, you have to log in, you have to have like an account, and you just click, I want to give this amount for the next 3, 6, whatever months, and Give Send Go, and you can turn it off at any time, because then she was trying to figure out how to turn it off. And so both GoFundMe and Give Send Go, they both have had, because I've had various questions over the past few months. Jonah is calling me, but I can't answer the phone. I don't know how to.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Let's see. Sometimes you can click a button and say, sometimes you can click a button and text them, but I don't know how to do that because I don't see that option right now. But
well, and my favorite part of your request is that you always write that Erin would be perfectly healed of cancer. So I just always love that that's a part of your prayer requests for sure. Are you sending?
I just texted Jonah from my iPad. Yeah.
Jonah Bear.
Yeah. So Katie Clark had recommended this book by Florence Scovel Shinn. She's a Christian author from like 100 years ago. So I read her book. Actually, I listened to it on audio when I was driving to Yuma to visit our mom Doris a couple weeks ago.
Jonah's watching now. Hi, Jonah.
Yay! Hi, Jonah. Jonah the soldier. Hi, Jonah.
It's always going to be Jonah Bear to me. I have a hard time not saying Jonah Bear. But.
Even though he's he's much larger than either of us. But that's a bear. Bears are big, right? So, hi, Jonah. Anyway, so I think that book has been very inspiring, and I like some of the prayers and affirmations she's been using was, a perfect, it just sounds so lovely. It's like perfect. Like that's a great prayer. Like let's pray for perfect healing. Katie. Yeah, that book rocks. It does rock. Thank you so much.
I feel like that was the one I started listening to, right? Didn't you send it to me was it Spotify?
Because the book is like 100 years old, and actually one of Kayla's high school English teachers told me this trick, not so much with the newer books written in the past 10 or 15 years, because of course they're trying to get all the royalties, but these older books, these classics, you can find various narrators narrating these on both YouTube and Spotify. I think I've even found some on Apple Podcasts. Of course, you can pay for an Audible subscription, $15.99 a month, but why do that if you can get it for free? So I think I sent you the Spotify link, but then I found a narrator I like better on YouTube. But
cool.
Yeah, great book. So.
Wow. Is there anything else last minute to help us wrap up everything that we've shared in the past hour?
No, I guess my question is, not my question. You had asked what Erin's needs are, so we went over that. So past, present, and future. So I think the future, I'm just believing for healing. What else? What other choice do we have to believe but for healing? And I know that Erin will be healed. I know that we all will be healed. I would prefer it be on this side of heaven,
yes.
But I can rest in the fact that he is walking with Jesus, but I just feel like there's something more to the story here. So I feel like, another book that I read is actually written a biography, or I guess an autobiography. When somebody else writes your biography, I think it's called autobiography. I get it mixed up, but anyways, it's a biography.
Is when you do it yourself.
Oh, okay. So it's not an autobiography; it's a regular biography.
Okay.
It's a book that's called "Don't Quit," and it's that little play on words. I think I have it right here. Like, don't quit. And then you can see it says "do it," and it's the Jason Merkel story. So this is a great book as well. But Jason Merkel is actually a patient of Dr. Brzezinski's. He was 20 in the year 2000. He was 20 years old. So he was Jonah Bear's age, diagnosed with something similar Erin has. And basically, it just describes the whole process. And I think with him, it did wind up taking about 1.5 years time. And there would be times where he would just be sick in bed for days. And there would be time where the tumor shrinks, and there'd be time when the tumor grows. And, it's just, I think the whole point, and I think I'm about 2/3 through it. And I think when I'm done reading it, I need to start over and read it again, because it's just very encouraging just to not quit. And by the way, Jason Merkel I actually invited his mom to join us tonight. I didn't see her come in, but through the Brzezinski patient Facebook group, I've now become friends with Jason, his wife, his mom. Him and his wife, I haven't obviously met them in person, but I see them on Facebook. So he was healed of brain cancer, 20 years ago, 21 years ago. And they have 3 beautiful kids. I was going to say daughters, but they may have 1 boy.
Do they live in Houston, or where do they live now?
They do not. I feel like they live near Cedarville. I think that was the college he was going to. I think that's Ohio area. I'm not 100%, but I don't know if they live near where he grew up. So that is a good question. I will have to find out. But yeah, it's just a small world. So yeah.
Well, it was so fantastic to have a conversation with you, and I definitely feel encouraged by all that God's always done, but just hearing a synopsis of the past, the present, and future.
Yes.
It's fun by all means. But thank you for all the people watching or will be watching soon. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to private message either one of us as we are connected.
I guess I would ask if it's okay
sure.
to share those links to both the 501c3 GoFundMe site and then also the Give Send Go site. And if people do want to become part of, giving, being a part of supporting or helping us financially, or helping the Brzezinski Clinic financially, or helping any of the other, patients out there. If I could share those links, or if they could reach out to me, or whatever is convenient. Yeah.
I can copy and paste them when this live is done.
Okay.
Yeah, the live will be available on playback, Jonah. That's a great question.
Hopefully
if I press the right buttons.
Yeah, press the right buttons.
Yeah. I am not as tech savvy as I used to be. Even though I have a tech emphasis in my master's, it is also 20 plus years old now. So, yes, for sure. Okay. I was going to say, what was I going to say? Oh, I've just totally forgotten what I was going to say, but I don't know.
I'm sorry. I asked about the links and we were
No, but I'm glad you said that, because I can definitely put it. Oh, that was another question. What if they want to be added to your prayer warrior email?
Oh, actually, that's another need. So I have all these ideas of things that I would love to do. Like I was saying, we actually have a friend helped me set up teamaaronrobinson.com, and we set it up in December, and he basically copy and pasted some of the pictures and text on the home page. But I was going to say, don't go there right now, because if you go click on any of the other pages, it's just a bunch of foreign languages and placeholder pages. So if anybody would love to spend a couple hours helping me put content on a website, I mean, Keith Hardesty did set that up for me. We're paying like $6 a month for it, and I do have all the content in my brain, and we can do an email chimp through that. So I would love to definitely set that up, because especially when other brain cancer patients or other caregivers of brain cancer patients reach out to me and are just looking for advice, I would love to just send them to that place, to be oh, this is what we did. So, but in the meantime, I just have a spreadsheet of emails of people who on emails. So, and tell Team Aaron Robinson, if you know anybody who would like to help me populate that website with content, that would be great. Otherwise, just have them send me their email and then I will add them to my list. We would love.
Perfect.
We appreciate all the prayers and support and ideas. Sometimes I'm like, hey, can we have a ride to the airport, or I mean, there's other ways that people can help, not just money and prayers, or obviously the kids are older now, but when they were little, I was, I know you came out to actually stay with the kids. So Aaron and I could go to Mexico for 3 weeks. So yeah. Anyways, ways to be creative and spend less money.
Well, everybody has their skill set. You just never
Right.
know where someone might have something that they can come along and come
Right.
aside and help
Yep.
out.
Right.
Like, yeah, one of my customers today, I made sure to ask her, what do you do for a living? Because I kind of like to visualize people better so I can pray for them better. She's an architect, and I don't think I've actually met an architect in our age group in a really long time. And
wow.
So I now have an architect in my, I was going to say Rolodex, but again, that ages me. I now have an architect on my contact list. So I'm so excited.
That's giving me Seinfeld flashbacks, Amanda.
I'm glad you caught that reference. But yeah.
What was his name? What was Costanza's architect name? I forget.
I don't know. I'll have to think of it later. Unless Jonah's still watching, he might remember.
He could Google it.
I'll probably wake up at like 3 a.m. Be like,
it was like, yeah, he was like looking at a sign on a wall and he said that name. It was, yeah, well, I mean, it'll come to us at 3 a.m. and then just text me.
Was it
Vandelay Industries?
I was going to say Vandenberg, but I knew that wasn't
No, Vandelay. Yeah. Vandelay Industries.
Yeah, not like it's. And he had a name too. Didn't George Costanza have a name too?
Was it Art Vandelay?
Was okay. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was Vandelay, but I'm not 100% sure on the first name. Jonah, did you actually watch Seinfeld where you would have remembered that? Because he said he doesn't remember.
Yeah, maybe.
So, oh, hey, Donna Harrell is watching or was watching. She is a friend of mine. We were in advanced anatomy together in high school. Teresa Haas. I can scroll. I can see it. Teresa Haas is watching. Shout out to Teresa if she's still with us. She is family through marriage. Bill Lucas is watching. Barbara Dunn. I think she had a Mary Elizabeth. Doris. Let's see. Nancy Angel. Hi, Nancy, if you're still with us. That's so cool. Now I can scroll. So anyways, thank you everybody for joining us. Jonah says no.
That's okay.
Seinfeld is like, it's kind of like Friends, but it's before Friends. So
yeah, and it is really old at this point. I mean, they have like answering machines. It's so old.
Right. Yeah. And they have the cordless phones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously. So, well, I love you so much, and it's probably time to sign off. And
yeah, thank you so much for interviewing me, and for keeping us on track and making this time wonderful. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to press finish now. So this is when we have to smile. So we have a nice face.
Let's see. This is where we have to do the Vanna smile because it's going to be okay.